Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 3, a short 4-day week, February the 17th to the 20th. So I wanted to record a video to address a couple of questions I've been receiving. But first, let's go through our to-do list this week. So your first step should always go take a look at the course calendar, which is right here. Just click that button, and this is what you'll see. Okay. So since we are in week 3, by now you should have gone through lessons activity 1A, activity 1B, 2A, and 2B, and you should have completed a discussion post, 1B quiz, as well as 2B quiz. Okay? You should have gotten marks back for those quizzes. The discussion, some of you should have marks back. It might not be fully done, but some of you should have marks back for that. So for this week, let's see what the news feed said. By Friday, you should have completed activity 1-2 checkpoint, activity 2C, lesson 2C, lesson 3A, and 3B. So let's see if it corresponds with our schedule. So today today being the 17th of February, you are to be working on activity checkpoint 1-2, which essentially is an assignment that summarizes everything you've done so far. 2C lesson on the Wednesday, followed by a 2C quiz, which is embedded in there, as well as 3A, applications of polynomials, and 3B, introduction to inequalities, which includes another quiz as well. Okay? So by the end of this week, that's what you should have. Now, don't forget, as you take notes from these lessons, upload your notes to the culminating portfolio submission. Okay? So a couple of things. First off, see below on how to take notes and submit them. If you need a reminder on what to submit and how, refer to last week's news item. So if you click that, it's going to direct you back to last week's news item. Okay, that in purple it shows you what I mean by notes. Okay, so let me summarize it right now. You have two options when you're submitting notes. So let's use last week's material as an example. So go to content, go to unit 1, activity 1. Okay. So when I click on activity 1, I will see this little blurb here. Okay, and it says these handouts and video acts as a nice summary of all of activity 1. Okay, here's a handout that's attached with the solutions, the filled out handout down here, as well as 2 videos that were recorded by my colleague that summarizes these activities. Now, if you do choose to do this activity 1 handout and submit that in your culminating portfolio, then when you go to this first activity, you don't need to submit the notes that you see here. Okay, so functions versus relations, polynomial functions, yada yada, all the way down. Okay, you can skip right to the activity 1 checkpoint, and that's what this little blurb is saying. You can either create your own notes from the lesson found on this page, or fill out activity 1 notes from here. Okay, and that's where this link here will direct you. Okay, and submit that in your culminating portfolio. So it's one or the other. If you had submitted this, okay, the handout, and you go to our first lesson, then you can skip the lesson and go right to, it says right here, if you have filled out the notes from activity 1, you can skip right to the bottom where it says activity 1 checkpoint. And I will do that all the way down. Activity 1 checkpoint. And these things I will need to complete regardless if I recorded notes from here or from here. Okay? That's where a lot of your marks are going to come from. Okay, so for example, activity 1 checkpoint, complete the questions in this practice, submit it in your culminating portfolio, check solutions here. So I gave you the solutions. Okay? With that being said, some of you asked me, the stuff you submit in your culminating portfolio, am I checking for accuracy? No, because most of the time the answers are provided for you. Okay? I'm not marking based on your ability to copy. It's more so I think of it as a participation mark, this culminating portfolio. Okay? It's for you to show me that you are actively involved and engaged in the class, copying notes one way or the other. Okay? It's for you to show me that you are engaged, essentially. So if I go to grades, let me make sure. Okay, so the culminating portfolio, the 15%, in essence acts as a participation mark. Okay, so are you someone who's putting work into this course? Oh, that's a typo. Into this course, and if so, are you doing it consistently? If so, boom, 15%. Okay, and the exam itself, just for perspective, is also 15%. Um, what else? Quiz availability. Okay, so let's look at our pacing guide for a quick second. Okay, so I'm going to record a better video next week that talks about the test, okay, and the expectations for the test. So I'll save that for next week's video. But for quizzes, so you can see here the 2C quiz is technically on the 18th, right? So if you look on D12 and you look at quizzes, you'll see, oh, look, there's a quiz. Do I need to complete it? Well, it says it won't be available till the 18th. So these days correspond with the calendar. Okay. Now, if you notice, it says it's available till then. So ideally, you should get it done on the 18th, but I know things happened. Things can happen, sorry. So you can do it after the 18th if you couldn't do it on the 18th in the first place. Okay. So here you see another quiz, activity 3B. It's available on the 20th. If you look at the calendar, 3B quiz. Okay. What else? Test expectations are next week. Login. So because this is an online course, it is imperative that you do log in daily. Not logging in each day is the same thing as missing a class. Okay, think of it that way. So if just like I would in class, if I look at your logins and I see that you haven't logged in like 4 or 5 days, that's the equivalent of not being in class for 4 or 5 days. And if that's the case, you would usually get a call home. So what I would do is first email you and your parents to see what's going on, followed by a call after that. Okay? That's pretty much it. Let's go back to the announcements or the news just to make sure. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about your marks or anything in the course, feel free to send me an email, okay? All right, chat soon. Bye now.